things I need to get done too. So I was planning on being here working. I may have to leave and take Dr. Stickles home and then come back, depending on how she's feeling.
How far away from here do you live?
About 20 minutes.
We get out of class at 3:15 tomorrow, right?
We get out of class.
For computer science.
Oh.
Yeah, computer science.
That's not what I wanted to do. Which one of these Okay, here we go. What's that?
So apparently the labels didn't make
Oh, I just hadn't, I had them in a different order than what I was planning on doing it in. That was my biggest problem. Let's look at this real quick so that we can remind ourselves about callable bonds.
That's a good idea. Oh my God.
Okay. And then we'll talk about the bond pricing between coupon dates. And then we'll get into duration. Basically what we're doing with that stuff is about sensitivity to interest rate changes. That's the idea for the next stuff. Okay, so we've got a par value bond that has coupons at an annual rate of 4%, convertible semi-annually. And the price guarantees that she'll receive an interest, an yield rate that's at least 6% convertible semi-annually. All right, so it says it's a callable bond. It says it can be called at any date starting on year 5, but it's a 10-year bond. So remember what the callable bond means that as soon as you hit 5 years, the person who issued the bond can go ahead and just pay the redemption value of the bond and not have to be responsible of any more interest payments past that callable date. Callable date. There's an interesting pause in there. Okay. So again, you can see why the issuer of the bond might want to put something in there along those lines so they can pay it off early and not have to make interest payments on there. Right? That's the idea. Unlike doing amortization of loans, there you go. Unlike doing amortization of loans where you're knocking down the interest each period, with bonds, if you think about bonds as a lending instrument, you're making interest-only payments each time a coupon comes due. Right? You borrowed whatever the amount was for the face value of the bond, essentially, and you're making interest-only payments until the redemption value comes, and then you pay the face value of the bond, or the redemption value of the bond, I should say. Okay? So it's a little bit different. So you can see why an issuer might want to put a clause in there to be able to get out of that to make fewer interest payments. Okay. Now, as an investor, if you're buying that bond, you want to make sure that you pay as low a price as possible for that bond, right? Because you're buying the bond anticipating getting these interest payments. You don't want to pay too much in the off chance that the issuer does pay it off early, and then you're out those interest payments. Okay. So you have to make a decision when you do these callable bonds. Am I going to price it at the call date as early as possible, or am I going to price it by the actual period of the bond at the end period? And that depends on whether or not you're buying the bond at a premium or at a discount. Okay? Remember, if you're buying it at a premium, the longer the period, the higher the price goes, because you're getting more interest payments at a premium. If you're buying it at a discount, the price goes down the longer it goes. Okay? So if you're doing a callable bond, you're going to want to price it at the call date if it's bought at a premium, because that'll be a lower price than pricing it at the term. Right? If you're buying it at a discount, you want to use the term rather than the call date, because that lowers your price as much as possible. Okay? That's the idea behind this. So that's the decision you have to make when you're doing these pricings is, pardon me, you're going to determine whether or not you're buying it at a premium or at a discount. Buying it at a premium, you use the call date to price it. Buying it at a discount, you're going to use the term of the bond to price it. Because you're going to pay as low a price as possible. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So in this case, are we buying the bond at a premium or are we buying it at a discount? Given the relationship between the coupon rate and the interest rate, is this a premium bond or a discount bond? Okay, why is it discounted?
Because the coupon rate is less than the yield rate.
Okay, so if you're getting the coupon rate is less than the yield rate, that means you're getting less interest back than you would if you just invested it in somewhere else in the market, right? So that means you're buying it at a discount. Since you're buying it at a discount, which of those two dates do you want to use to price your bond? The full 10 years, right? So the price of your bond should be your payments, whatever that happens to be, with semi-annual coupons at an interest rate of 6%, but it'll be 0.03 since we're doing this semi-annually. And I don't know what the coupons are, but it's going to be based on the par value times the...
Is that the same X that we're looking for?
Yes. Oops, I smashed that in there.
I like the red.
You like the red? You would prefer me to write it in red?
So we're looking for the payment?
We're looking for the X. Why can I not get that the right size? Okay, so this is just part, I haven't finished it off yet, right? This is just the present value of your coupon payments. Your coupon payments are based on your face value, right?
Is the X in that equation the same as the X in the problem?
Yes. Because we base our coupon payments off the par value. This is our coupon rate.
Yeah.
So the coupon rate times the par value gives me the amount of the coupon.
Got it.
And then I've got to do the present value of the redemption value, which in this case is the par value, and that'll be v to the 20th, or 1.03 to the negative 20th in that case.
What did you just add?
This is your present value of the redemption. That's how we price it, right? It's present value of the coupon payments plus the present value. That's a lot of P's. Plus the present value of there was a whole two of them of the redemption value. And we know what the price is. They tell us, right? So you'll have the 1,021.50. I can factor on an X. And you need 0.02 times your A angle 20 at 0.03, and then plus 1.03 to the negative 20. And then now it's just an algebra problem, right? Well, okay, it's a calculator problem plus algebra problem. Is that better? So I need to get my calculator out. It's so dumb. All it is, it looks like it's just files on here, but if I copy those files over to my desktop and try to run it, it'll say you don't have the flash drive. So it recognizes it needs a flash. So you can't just distribute it around to everybody. You actually have to have a flash drive. I'm sure somebody with more computer skills than me could probably do it, but I don't have those kind of skills.
How did you get it on the flash drive then?
TI sent it to me.
Oh.
For free. And they gave me a free calculator because I told you to buy the calculators for the class. Seems like a kickback, doesn't it?
So that's why you had us buy the calculator.
No, I had to buy
It's like, I'm gonna need it.
I had to buy the calculator because you need this specific calculator for the exam. That's why I recommended it. I didn't even know that that program existed before I told you that to buy the calculator. Oh, well, I already told them about the calculator. We need a free calculator.
Is it only certain calculators that they do that for?
Yeah. They might do it for the 84. But
What's the difference between the regular and the professional, other than the storage?
I think it's just the storage. There might be a couple extra functions. I think it's just that it's got more memory.
Like how much more memory? Like a lot?
Well, you know how the cash flows. Your calculator will do 24.
Mhm.
The other one will do 36.
So, not that whole lot.
That's a lot. I don't know. The professional's a lot more expensive.
Yeah, I was gonna get it because it's fancy, you know?
Yeah.
But it was like 26
It's a professional on it. I don't know. What is the answer?
I got 1,200, but I don't know if that's right.
We're so hooked you.
I didn't actually do the problem. That was why, with my calculator soliloquy, I didn't actually get a chance to do the problem. Oops. Now my calculator went away.
Might be the highlight of my weekend.
What is your highlight of your Monday?
Something that happened at
Oh,
the beginning of
I
class.
gotcha. Let's see. So the A angle in had the payment of 0.02. The interest rate was 3. The number of payments is 20. We want to compute the present value, right? And let's store that. Maybe I stored that. Do it again. And then I need the 1.03 to the negative 20th. I need to add that to what I had down there. So that was the right-hand side, should be 0.8512. And then if I flip that and multiply it by whatever the price was, what was it again?
1021.50.
Thank you. 1021.50. That's 1,200? Cool.
Yes.
Is that what you guys said? Cool. Well, that's fantastic. I'm glad we got the right answers.
I use both calculators.
Me too. That's the only way to go.
All right, so this was 0.85. What did we say? This was 0.8512? Is that what this just came up as? Okay. And then we got 1,200 was our answer.
Was this one of the questions on this worksheet?
Yeah, it was. It's 4.8, number 8. No, not the one I just handed out. That was the one that was last time. These are the ones I handed out today are for new stuff.
Is this like the one that Hayden said we don't know how to do? Or no?
No, that's the next stuff. I was reminding. This is new ones. Yeah. There's one, and there's the other. Yep. This is on the sheet from last time.
I just want to write it so in case I gotta go back.
Yeah, I understand. That's another reason why I've been trying to label them. I mean, Haley was getting on me about not labeling the pages, so.
But it just
Now I need to label what the contents are.
All right, what'd you say, Sydney?
So now I need to label what the contents of the problem are.
Yeah, good.
the whole label just needs to be the problem.
The whole thing, yes. Actually, that would have helped on this one. I thought I had them in order, but apparently I did not. Because this one's the last thing I wanted to do.
Is this a review as
We
well or
have
no?
them in order from the packet.
Is this new?
Is that what it was?
It's 6, 10, 8.
This is not new yet. This is still old stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I did have it 6, 10, 8. You're right. All right, so this is, so are we okay with callable, the difference between the things?
Kind of. But yeah, we'll make it.
I mean, yeah, well, the idea is that you just want to make sure you use the lowest price, right? So if it's a premium, you're going to use the call period because that lowers the price. If it's a discount, you're going to use the term period because again, that lowers the price. Literally, it's literally the only thing I can remember.
If you forget, you can always just do them both.
Yeah. Yeah, to see which one has a lower price. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Okay, so far so good with that?
Yep.
Yes. Cool. All right, so let's do this one, which is like one of your homework problems. Hopefully it's not exactly your homework problem. That was a
I wish
mistake.
it was, but it's not.
Okay. All right, so there are a lot of words. Okay. So the idea here with the 3 different pieces is that you're going to have a price that this price plus accrued means that you're going to have a price at a particular, we know how to price a bond right after a coupon payment's made, right? We know how to price a bond right after a coupon payment is made. What we're trying to do is figure out how to price the bond in between coupon dates. So what that means is that if you own the bond for this 70 days, you're not going to get the coupon payment at November 30th if you sell it on August 9th, right? If you sell this on August 9th to somebody else, whoever actually physically has the bond gets the payment when the coupon comes. But you owned that bond from May 31st to August 9th. So you're entitled to some of the interest. right? Okay, so that's the idea behind this. So the price plus accrued is just going to be, this one's actually really easy. Because we already know how to, I shouldn't say really easy, it's a bad word to say, pedagogy parts, but the concept is straightforward from stuff that we've already done. We know how to find a price of a bond after a coupon payment, right? Immediately following a coupon payment, because we know how many coupons are left, we know the redemption value, we can find the price, correct? The same kind of problems we've done. Once we find that price, all we're going to do is use our yield rate to move it forward to whatever the day of the sale is. That's what the price plus accrued interest is. You're just going to take that value at May 30th, May 31st, whatever day it was, May 31st, move that price forward to August 9th. That's the price plus accrued interest. That's it. Both of those, that just combines two concepts that we've done this semester, right? Find the price of a bond, take a lump sum, and move it forward. So price plus accrued is not anything that's going to be a difficult thing to do because we've already done both of those things. So the first thing we need to do is we need to find the price on May 31st, 2007. That's step one. Okay, we got to find the price on May 31st. So again, this is right after, we're pricing this right after the coupon payment has been made. So we're not going to count the coupon that's on May 31st. We're going to go from basically June 1st on. How many coupon payments are left? Well, one in 2007.
Yeah.
I think you're 7, right? There's one in 2007. I see Haley visualizing in front, or doing a little bunny foo-foo jumping along. There's one left in 2007, 2 in 2008, 2 in 2009, 2 in 2010, right?
Where did it say how long the bond is?
It says it matures on November 30th, 2010. What's that?
I started to count like,
Yeah.
but I wasn't keeping track of years, so I was just
It's kind of like twos. All right.
So when does it start? 2007.
Those are the two that we're doing, right? So it already paid the one on May 30th. 31st. How many days did May have? 31st, right? It already paid that one, so we're not including that one. We still have November of this year, if this year is 2007, 2 next year, 2 the following year, and 2 the last year. So there's 7 payments left. So how will we find the price then?
like the punching in calculator, the FD is 1,000. Or payment is 40. Whatever 7.4 divided by 2 is.
It's already there. It's already semi.
And then you still got to divide it by 2. And then N is 7.
Okay.
And compute.
Yeah, apparently the plug pulled out on this end. I was like, it's plugged in. What do you mean it's running low? Okay. So we can do that in the calculator. If I was writing it out, what would it look like written out?
That's that question.
I know.
Would it be like it'd be an annuity, wouldn't
Yeah, so what would you...
30? Or no, 40. I don't know where I got 30.
I don't either.
40 times, like, annuity A of 7 in the garage times 3.7. Or, yeah, 0.037. That's... No.
One more piece. It's the coupons plus the redemption, right?
Yeah.
That's a 7 up there, by the way.
That looks like a 7.
Okay. What'd we get?
I got 10, 18, 20.
It's okay?
Is this beginning?
That's
No, it should be beginning and be end. Because we don't include the 40 at May 31st. Well, you're still going to be 6 months away before you get another payment. Okay, this okay? All right. So now this is the first step is to find the price. Now let's do the price plus accrued. We need to move this price forward. How far? Well, it tells us that it's 70 out of 183 days in between, right? So I need to move it forward 70 over 183, sorry.
4, 8, 8,
4, 10, 11? Okay. So what this means is that this is the fraction of the semi-annual period, right? This particular semi-annual period has 183 days in it. We need to move this forward 70 of those 183 days. Okay? So this is, I'll say, 70 over 183rd or 5th, whatever you want to say, of a period. Okay. So how do we do that?
the price times 1
Yeah.
point 1. Whatever the interest rate is.
Which is,
0.37.
okay,
The
good. That's exactly right.
I'm just doing it. I'm putting it in
Okay, no, that's okay. Speaking of putting it into words, I want to make sure I have the right word for what I'm about ready to say.
1032 40.
If I can find it. Oh, here we go. Okay, so this is, what'd you say it was again, the value?
1032 46.
46. So this is your price plus accrued interest, like we mentioned before. This is also known as your dirty price.
30.
Yep.
Do they phrase it that often?
Yeah, apparently, yes, they do. They do phrase it as dirty price. It's just weird.
That's weird.
Why is it dirty?
You get it before the coupon is paid.
Okay, you get it before the coupon is paid. What haven't we considered yet before we try to sell it? The interest that's accumulated, right? This is moving the price forward. You're going to need to subtract off something here before you're going to sell it for that price because we've got an interest rate to sell. Right? There's an interest rate to settle. This is accumulating a value, right? But we've got a coupon payment that's going to be made to the buyer, and the seller needs part of it. Right? So we've got to adjust this with the interest rate. So with the accrued interest,
So what we just found wasn't the price plus accrued.
no, it is the price plus accrued. Yes, it is. It is plus the price. It is the price plus accrued or the dirty price. They're both. It's just they're synonymous.
Is that what the question is asking for?
What's that? The question. The first part of the question was asking for the price plus accrued.
Wait, isn't the U and the
Is there a second part of the question?
Isn't the U and the R?
Oh yeah, I misspelled it. Is that causing confusion?
Yes.
Thank you, Kelly.
I thought that was right. I definitely wrote it right.
Words are hard.
Words are hard. I misspelled accrued.
You spelled it. Did you spell it wrong again in the third one?
Oh, for heaven's sake. No, I didn't. That's correct now.
Michael would criticize that.
There's a lot of words that are hard to
All right. Accrued, not occurred. Amortization.
Amortization.
Amortize. Just kill it. Just kill it. All right. So this part's not bad either because we know what the interest is. What is the interest? The total amount of interest for the whole period. What is the interest? 40, right? Right? That is the entire amount of interest for the entire period is 40, correct? So how much of that interest would have accrued over this time, do you think?
17.
Yeah.
And this is already accounted for in the above, or not?
Say that again.
That's not accounted for in the price plus 2. We'll need to take it out.
This is, yes, we're going to need to take it out because it's in that piece, yes.
Don't we want it to be that?
15.96.
We want the part, if we're selling it, we want the part that we got midway between.
Right.
So why are we taking it out? Because we own part of it for that interest period. So we want the part that we owned it for, but we're not selling it when we get full on it.
So the idea behind this is when we have, what we're going to do when we subtract this out, it's giving us what the market value actually is because we split the coupon payment up. Because you really don't have this yet, right? You don't get it until the next time. So this would be, basically what this is what you actually should get because it includes the payment. But you don't have it yet, so when you subtract this out, you actually get what the market price is. Because you don't actually get that $40 until the very end, but that part of that $40 is included in that price plus accrued. So we're going to subtract it out to get what the market value is.
Ah, okay, I'm there now.
Yeah. Okay. So did we get this value?
I got there.
Okay. What is that value?
15.3.
0? Okay. So then we'll subtract. You're going to take your dirty price and subtract the accrued interest. I can't spell. Holy crap. You know, as much as I do that, I wonder how many times I misspelled that the last time I taught this class. Probably every single time.
Just do ACC dot.
Hack. All right. So this equals your clean price or flat price or market price.
Can't we just pick one term?
No, apparently we can't. My guess is you probably use market price and price plus accrued in reports, and then when you're just talking to somebody, you're using dirty and clean.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
What about flat?
It's British? I don't know. It's the elevator price, or the apartment price, I mean. That's not a lift. Sorry, I got the wrong one. I was making a joke and then just completely butchered it. It's fine.
I still find it amazing.
Well, good.
Are dirty and clean price like jokes for actuaries?
Probably.
That's
Probably.
a lame joke.
Well,
But actually, honestly, the dirty probably comes from quick and dirty, doing it quickly. So that's probably why it's because they just took the price and moved it forward. Quick and dirty got a price. And then if you're actually doing what you need to do for booking, what the book value needs to be, you're going to subtract off the interest and make it clean.
That makes sense.
I'm totally guessing, but I could see people's minds working that way.
Very logical makes sense. So.
So it's probably wrong.
Yeah.
There's probably somebody who came to work one day stinky and said, "Hey, you made good prices." It's probably a lot more likely.
That poor guy never got to live down.
It's true. Do you have a question, Haley, or are you just bleeding?
I don't know. I don't know yet. I'm
Okay.
trying to figure something out.
Yeah, Sam?
So for this problem, how come when we calculated the price, how come we didn't use the F plus F times R minus I times the A? What is that for?
You could use that too. We just use the calculator to get the price. But you could do the other one. It's just a different way to do it. The F plus the F times R minus I with that one shows you that when you're doing the amortization, it really is just on that other part. You don't worry about the face value part. You're just looking at the difference between the coupon and the interest. So what did we get for this value, by the way?
10, 17, 16.
60 what? 16 is what you're telling me. I guess I could have subtracted that myself. Never mind. We okay with that? Does that help you do the other one, Hale? I hope. All right, cool. Other questions on that at all?
Is it kind of cold in here? Or is it
Seems a little bit chillier today than it usually does.
Yeah.
I think I figured out what I wanted to ask.
Okay.
If you turn this on, then I'm gonna start sweating now.
So like the.
Turn it on for like 3 minutes and then turn it off.
I'll sit on it.
Just let you know.
So the price plus
Start
accrued
smelling
is the price at the
sauce.
time it's sold,
And it's gonna
right?
be your fault.
Yes.
So then the accrued interest is the interest from the last coupon payment.
To that
It's
time.
sold.
Yep.
So why do you subtract out the accrued interest instead of like the 1 minus the 70 over 183, like the interest for the rest
So-
of the.
We're subtracting out the accrued interest from the price because that's giving you what the asset would actually be worth in your books.
Oh, okay.
That's what that is. Okay.
Why wouldn't you just keep the dirty price as your market price and then let your buyer have the whole next payment?
That is what happens. That's how you sell it.
So why is your market price less than?
This accrued interest part is actually what you're going to pay taxes on because that's all the interest you got out of it. The rest of it is the value of the asset that you sold.
So it's because
You sold an asset and you also got interest income. There's different tax rates for it. That's the reason.
That makes more sense to me now.
Yeah. There's tax rates on your interest income, right? So your buyer is not going to want to pay thinking about instead of doing $1,000 bond, you're doing millions of dollars of bonds, right? The buyer is not going to want to be on the hook for the entire interest tax payment, right?
Yeah.
So basically what you're doing is you're splitting the taxes. The buyer is on the hook for that interest income. No, sorry, the seller is on the hook for the accrued interest income. That's why we're worried about splitting it out. It's accounting purposes. You're just not going to have to worry about the accounting purposes because you're not tax accountants. You're just pulling out the different pieces.
This air's kind of cold. I mean, it's warmer, but it's not like warm.
Good.
Good. All right. Other questions before I move on to new stuff?
We've got 10 minutes for new things.
I know. There's always new stuff.
That's it, the whole problem then?
Yeah, that was it. That was what it asked for.
No, I don't, they're.
All right. So in the next chapter, which is chapter 14 in your book, we're going to be doing the idea of duration. So there's actually 3 different types of duration. One you're not really going to care about, but we're going to talk about it briefly. The other 2 we will talk about, and that's the Macaulay duration and the modified duration. Okay, what'd you say?
Said the Home Alone duration.
The Home Alone duration. I like it. All right, there's also a mathematician named Macaulay. All right, so here's the idea behind duration. So I'm not going to do either of these 2 things to start with. Okay? I'm going to talk about the duration. So the idea here is, how long is it going to take to get your money back? That's the idea of duration. Is it? Yeah, it's always too long, isn't it? That's the idea of, if I've got these 2 payments, how long should it take to get this, basically my money back? I think about it as on average, average length of time. That's the concept behind it. The reason why we want to know this is because the longer a duration is, the more sensitive it is to interest rate fluctuations. Right? If you've got an investment that takes a longer time to come in, and it varies depending on what the market interest rate is, that present value, if you will, of that particular payment is going to be more sensitive to interest rate fluctuations because it's farther away. Right? That's the idea. So the first concept of just duration, which, by the way, is not what you'll typically call duration when you're looking at things to study for the exam, because, of course, it has to be complicated with words. All right, so the idea here is just basically to do a weight. For this particular problem, and in general, this is the idea. I've got $1,000 in 3 years, and I get $3,000 in 4 years. So I want to try to weight when these payments are going to come in. Well, I know I'm going to multiply this 1,000 by 3 and the 3,000 by 4. That weights the times when they come in. Basically, it's a time-weighted idea, right? And then I'll divide by the total of the payments. So in this case, you'll get 1,000 times 3 plus 3,000 times 4, and divide by the 1,000 plus the 3,000. I'm basically doing a weighted average, but I'm doing a weighted average of the time, right? Think about how this is a weighted average of your time. 1/4 of your money comes in at time 3. 3/4 of your money comes in at time 4. Right? Because it's 1,000 out of the total of 4,000 coming in at time 3, and it's 3,000 out of the total of 4,000 coming in at time 4. So we're weighting the times. Does that make sense? So when you compute this, what do we get? We get 12, what is it? 3.75. Does it make it sense that it's closer to 4 than it is to 3? Yeah, because it's the higher amounts toward that end piece, right? Here's the problem with, this is the first definition of duration. Here's the problem with it. Well, I just told you that the whole reason why we want to know duration is because we want to know. Push it back.
I don't know how to open it.
You just push it back. Not popping up. Oh, smash!
That's how I fix my TVs.
It's all right. I feel you. I do the same thing. All right. So I told you the whole reason why we want to do these durations is because we want to know how sensitive these investments are to interest rate changes. What did we not consider at all when we just calculated that? The interest rate, right? So we're doing this weighted average idea, but we weighted it on when we got the money. So instead of weighting it when we got the money, let's weight the present values instead. Okay? That's what the Macaulay duration is.
Are these the two that we're worried about?
No, the first one's that we're not worried about at all.
What?
The first one we're not worried about at all.
So the one that we already did.
Yeah, the one we already did was just an idea of what we're trying to do. And then talk. I know. Sorry, this one's not hard either. It's the same thing, we're just going to do one more thing to it. Okay, well, actually, one more thing to each piece. Okay, so instead of doing the weights, we're still going to weight it by time, but instead of weighting the investment, why don't we weight the present values? If we weight the present values, that involves the interest rate, so that we really do get a measure of how volatile this thing is to market changes, how volatile it is to interest rate changes. So we're going to do the exact same computation. We're just going to put a present value factor in it. So what do you think I'm going to multiply each piece by? Okay, so this one will be v to the third. And the second one will be v to the fourth. And then we'll still have the, and then bottom we'll have the same present value factors in there. I'm assuming you're all doing this. I hear typing. Oops.
At 3.736.
I got the same.
So I moved it a little bit closer, but still, obviously, it's still weighting the second payment more than the first, right? So again, now we could see what happens if we make small interest. We can see what happens when we make small interest rate changes here to what happens to the values. Now, when we do that, I'm not going to go through a numeric example of doing that because it would take more time to do the calculations with the typing the calculator, and I got 3 minutes. And I don't want to go over because I never go over. All right, but the idea here is to try to do a relative change, a relative percent change idea. So how do you do percent change?
Use percents.
Great. How do you do relative, like a relative error, or percent change? What do you do?
You do division of some
You
sort?
do division of some sort, right?
Actual minus theoretical over theoretical.
Yeah, that's the percent error, right? You do the actual minus theoretical over theoretical, or you do the change divided by the initial amount, right? Okay. So you can do that. You don't see that much in the Macaulay duration, but you can see that in what's referred to as the modified duration. When you hear the word change, what calculus idea do you think of? Derivative, right? It's a calculus idea, right? When you think of change. Sorry, Sydney.
Yeah, I was thinking not that. I didn't hear the calculus.
The calculus part, yeah. So when we do change, we think derivative, right? So when we do modify, and I want to think about a relative change. So relative change is actual change divided by starting amount, right? Okay. So when you do this, you've got, say, a present value. I'll just call it P. You're going to take the derivative of your P with respect to the interest rate, and you're going to divide it by the P. The present value or the price. Most of these things we're thinking about these as price. So now, what happens to present value as the interest rate goes up?
Say it again?
What happens to present value as the interest rate goes up? It gets smaller, right? So if it gets smaller, what's your derivative with respect to the interest rate going to be? Is it going to be positive or negative? Negative. If we want this as a measure of duration, it doesn't make so much sense for this to be negative, so we're going to stick a negative sign out in front of it to make it positive. Sydney, did you say that?
Absolute value.
Well, that's essentially what we're doing, right? We're just flipping the sign because we know for a fact it's going to be negative, so we just put a negative in front of it. Absolute value is fine. It's the perfect way to think about it. All right, so this is your modified duration. I'm not going to do it right this second, but you can actually show that this is your Macaulay duration divided by 1 plus I. Which honestly, if the problem asks you for modified duration, you're probably going to calculate it this way versus using the derivative anyway. You can do this, in this problem, the derivative is not hard because I just have 1 plus I to the negative 3, 1 plus I to the negative 4, right? Those pieces. Because again, you're doing your price, your P, is going to be 1,000 v cubed plus 3,000 v to the fourth. We agree? So then your derivative with respect to I will be negative 3 times 1,000 v to the fourth, and a negative 4 times 3,000 times v to the fifth. And the reason why the powers on the v are going up is because those v's are 1 plus I to the negative 3 and negative 4, right?
So we're, oh, never mind, just kidding, that's gonna be done.
So notice that your p in the bottom looks like this on bottom here for your Macaulay duration, correct?
Yeah.
Do you agree? Okay. Here, if I factor out a negative v, if I factor out a negative v, I have the top, don't I? So there's your negative and your 1 plus I. So v is 1 over 1 plus I. So you can see where that comes from. In this particular case, it would just as easy to calculate it directly. In most cases, though, think if you had a bond. If you had a bond making those regular coupon payments, that's going to be a pain in the ear to try to calculate the derivative with respect to I. So you'll do the Macaulay duration and then just divide by 1 plus I to get the modifier. Okay. We'll do more of these problems next time. I'm 1 minute late, sorry. I needed a stop sign.